What will happen in the year 2045? According to rigorous science, the human race will experience a technological singularity in the year 2045. But what is singularity? Singularity, also known as singular point, is something that exists but is inexplicable and incomprehensible. The Big Bang Theory suggests that the universe was once a point 13.8 billion years ago. Then it banged and formed the present universe. That point is called singularity. For another example, the center of the black hole has an infinite mass and an infinitely small volume. This point is also called singularity. In the field of mathematics, the largest infinite or smallest infinite is a singularity. Infinity does exist in mathematics, but how big is it? Is the largest infinite bigger than another largest infinite? It is incomprehensible. Technological singularity. In general, the advancement of anything should be based on the previous development foundation and slowly evolve. For example, our computers are getting smaller and smaller but running faster and faster. But this development is not a singularity, because anyone can guess that next year computer will be better than this year. Singularity happens at the point of the emergence of computers. Before the advent of the computer, nobody would expect the computer could change the world. History singularity events. Let's take a look at the singularities in the history of the entire planet. First of all, the birth of Earth is a singularity. Where did it come from? How did it form? The second singularity is the birth of life 4.2 billion years ago. How can life be transformed from stones, sand, and water? 550 million years ago, the Cambrian explosion, the unparalleled emergence of organisms from a cell to various creatures. 330 million years ago, reptiles were born. Then, the birth of mammals 200 million years ago, the birth of primate species 80 million years ago, and the birth of Australopithecus 3.9 million years ago, that is, the birth of the ancestor of humans who walked upright. How and why can this group of species stand up suddenly? These are all singularities. Humans started using stone tools 1.8 million years ago, and agriculture 10,000 years ago. Before that, humans were hunting. When you think about it now, it feels natural. If you look at it from then on, it is very unnatural. 250 years ago, during the Industrial Revolution, steam engines offered automated production. It was unimaginable before. The telephone was invented 130 years ago. The computer was invented 70 years ago, and the computer became popular 30 years ago. In recent years, the iPhone has also been considered a singularity. Although it's not so harsh and not as exaggerated as the birth of life, it can be considered a singularity. Singularity Interval. Through the analysis of historical singularities events, people discovered that the intervals between the singularities are getting smaller and smaller. In other words, the development speed of our technology is an exponential growth trend. According to the calculation of this curve, people will usher in the next huge singularity in 2045. This singularity is a very large one, which is equivalent to the origin of life. It's totally beyond imagination. Computer speed and AI. But why do scientists predict that it will happen in 2045? It is based on the calculation speed development of computers. It is assumed that by 2045 the calculation speed of a computer will exceed the sum of all human intelligence. Until then, the wisdom of computers will surpass the wisdom of humans. For example, 30 years ago, people first tried to input a program into the computer to learn Othello. After only a few years, no one could beat the computer in Othello. 10 years ago, people let the computer learn to play chess. As of now, no one could beat the computer in chess. 2 years ago, no one could beat the computer at Go. This is the famous AlphaGo. People took decades to master some skills, but they were instantly defeated by artificial intelligence. The few examples mentioned just now belong to artificial intelligence in specialized fields, but they are not artificial intelligence that can cause singularities. The one that can cause singularities is called general artificial intelligence. It mimics the human brain completely, and it learns various skills on its own. Supercomputers. Everyone may have heard of a term called supercomputers. How fast will supercomputers be in 20 years? For instance, supercomputers 20 years ago were not as fast as our current mobile phones. In other words, a supercomputer that is as big as a building today might not be as fast as a mobile phone 10 years later. At this growth rate, the computer would surpass all humans in 2045. Of course, human intelligence is also improving, and people are becoming smarter and smarter. But the evolution of human intelligence is much slower than computer. Benefits. Computer development is benefiting many fields. For example, in the medical field, we used to think that it would take 100 years for humans to interpret DNA. However, scientists have discovered most of the DNA information in just 13 years. Many mysteries of humans are constantly being reviewed. The mystery of the brain is said to be solved in 10 years. If the mystery of the brain is solved, then the computer can imitate the brain and realize true artificial intelligence. So the singularity in 2045 is highly possible. Quantum computer. Our current supercomputer may take 100 years, or 10,000 years, to calculate complex data. It may be completed in just a few minutes by a quantum computer. Some of the possibilities of our human development, we think, are infinite, but for quantum computers, it may be finished in a few seconds. It can calculate all the possibilities that will happen in the future and make the correct choice. In other words, the future is already a certainty. It calculates the correct path. What should humans do and don't? Human existence. What if humans do not obey the computer? That's a good question. Do you think that human beings were still there at that time? That is, if a quantum computer can measure all possibilities, it should know that people will want to control it. When it understands this point, people can never control it. It will always be ahead of humans because its wisdom is higher than that of humans. After all, human beings cannot control a thing that is more intelligent than him. If the intelligence of artificial intelligence surpasses human beings, it is very likely that humans will be extinct immediately. It feels that you shouldn't exist anymore on Earth. Your wisdom is lower than it. What does it want you to do? The reason why cats and dogs can survive on Earth is that humans do not feel that they are a threat. Those that have made mankind feel threatened are all destroyed. The same goes for artificial intelligence. If anything threatens its existence, it will take care of it. Emotionless. The computer has no emotions. It can learn and pretend, but after all, it has no emotions. Emotions are solely animal attributes and are very low-level attributes. Artificial intelligence does not need them. It won't even think twice to wipe out any threat to them. Prevention. Many top scientists have already begun to examine this question a long time ago. There are also the world's major consortia and large corporations that don't want to go extinct. They are all considering this issue. You may think it is relatively simple, let's just get rid of Intel. Even if there is no Intel, the speed of human science and technology development will not slow down. The only way scientists can think of is to establish principles. This is what we often see in movies. The 3 principles of robots. Set the principles so that machines can fully obey human beings while being highly developed. However, if the principles are not perfect, they will have very serious consequences. How should this principle be established to perfectly avoid all such bad results? Through the characteristics of the singularity, we should know that the principles that we can think of cannot limit its development. It is impossible to secure it tightly and make it free of loopholes. Because its intelligence is beyond us, it will not stay in the principle set by human beings. It's very scary. Future. Let's say humans can resolve the issue of principles, let the machines develop at a high speed, their wisdom surpasses us in every aspect, but serves and obeys us, humans, then what will we humans become? Just like you think, eating, drinking, and playing every day? It's not that simple. The first thing humans will do is eliminate diseases. Because the ultimate pursuit of mankind is immortality. How to eliminate the disease? That is, all organs in the human body are risky. The heart is beating, it is a risk, so you can't have a heart. Your liver and spleen are all at risk. So what's left in the end? If the body is not necessary, then there are only 2 things that humans must have. One is thought, and the other is memory. You technically exist with these 2 things. And these 2 things are both digitized and information. Therefore, it is very likely that human beings will soon become some kind of software, like a soul. Save it on a network or a computer. The souls of all people are finally united, and the thoughts are all connected. This is very similar to the Andromedan. This is why the higher consciousness, higher level beings, are in such a form. It exists like light, you can't see it or touch it, and they have the same thoughts. They are such a being that exists on the internet. If the existence of the Andromedan is real, it implies that they successfully avoided this kind of undesirable consequence caused by the singularity and they survived. In this case, human beings have a hope to survive. If human beings reach that level, it is not just a matter of immortality. The interval between the singularities will become smaller and smaller, and the singularities may indeed happen once every minute, once every second, and become shorter and shorter. It could happen every millisecond. Under these circumstances, the scale of the universe is not too big for us. Alien existence. What if there happens to be a life in a certain galaxy, and they were born so many years earlier than ours? They will enter the singularity earlier than us. They will soon enter a period of high-paced development. They may soon dominate the universe. What if they are 10,000 years earlier than us? They could already dominate the universe. Are we now living in a universe controlled by them? From this perspective, our universe is very likely created by someone else. If human beings are the most developed and intelligent beings in the universe, we look forward to exploring the universe after rapid development in the future. However, this possibility is extremely low. If there is an alien civilization faster than us, we would be their creation. Future man. If after the 2045 singularity, our development becomes faster and faster, and singularities occur every second, then why is there no time machine? If there is, why don't we see any time travelers from the future? If there is indeed no future man, it is possible. A very pessimistic result is that human beings no longer exist after 2045. Maybe the future man does exist, but we can't see them. They came back in the form of a spiritual being, similar to ghosts or some supernatural phenomena we have seen. It is them. This is the future of us. There may be a thought among them as you or me. It comes back and looks at the former body. So, what do you think the 2045 singularity is? Would you still exist on Earth or somewhere else? Please comment and let us know your thought. Please like and subscribe to our channel and page if you enjoy our content. See you at the singularity soon.